I am Dr. Willem Mostert, and I want to talk to you about habits, the patterns of behavior that can make or break us. My habits changed my brain into an enemy, and I had to develop new habits that converted it back to a friend. In the previous section, I addressed my 19 health goals. To support my health goals, I developed 19 habits, and now I want to tell you more about my brain healthy habits. Your brain loves habits because they are simple, structured, well-known, energy efficient, quick and automatic, says Stan Jacobs. What you must do is to ensure that your habits are productive, as your brain does not distinguish between good and bad habits. It takes around 17 days to create a new healthy habit by retraining the brain, but it takes only a moment to start a new bad habit. The information received by the brain is organized in patterns. Patterns or habits, once formed, take place automatically or subconsciously, and the conscious mind is left to pay attention to new information. When you first learn to drive a vehicle, every action, every moment, every movement and activity had to be consciously monitored. After a while, however, the pattern becomes internalized, set and fixed. The right trigger will start the pattern without us having to think about it. We are thus programmed by various life situations, and these programs, to a large extent, run our lives. A habit started with a choice we deliberately made and then executed it at some point in time. Then stopped thinking about it, but continued doing it regularly. A habit is therefore a recipe our brain automatically follows when a specific trigger enters the brain. The brain knows exactly how to execute the behavior as a response to the stimulus because of repeated execution. A habit is therefore a decision that became an automatic behavior we become addicted to. The good news is that habits can be changed if we understand how they work. As soon as the brain receives a stimulus, the basal ganglia, which is part of the brain, makes a quick decision. It asks if there already is a stored pattern of behavior that is tailor-made for this specific stimulus or not. If no, the brain activates other areas to decide what to do. If yes, the basal ganglia activates the correct habit and the rest of the brain goes to rest whilst the habit is executed. These habitual behavioral chunks are stored in the basal ganglia and are recalled as a pattern of behavior that responds to a specific trigger to produce a predetermined emotional reward. Some habits can be simple, such as brushing your teeth, but some can be complex, such as driving your vehicle on a highway at 120 kilos per hour. Habits form as the brain continuously looks for ways to save energy and effort. Without this, we will be in a constant mode of making decisions all the time and most probably get nothing done. The basal ganglia therefore have devised a clever system to determine when to let habits take over, and the rest of the brain should take over if there is no habit. This is a good thing if the habit is productive, but can be devastating if the habit is detrimental to self and others. Because if the cue for the habit arrives, the habit is executed, good or bad, and you then don't have much control over it. All habits have the same components, forming an executable pattern. The first one is a trigger or cue that offers a hint as to which habit to set in motion, and it happens automatically. The next one is a routine or recipe that executes the pattern of behaviors or steps effortlessly and automatically. And lastly, a reward that satisfies the emotional or physical reason why the habit exists. Once executed, the brain wakes up again to check if the routine did result in the anticipated behavior. This reward helps the basal ganglia to decide if it is worth remembering the habit for future use. Over time, this loop becomes more and more automatic until a powerful sense of anticipation for the reward happens as soon as the cue arrives. This neurological craving for the reward is what cemented the habit as a permanent pattern in the basal ganglia that is difficult to change. Unless you fight the habit, it will dominate your actions as soon as the cue arrives. That's why we call it a habit, which is actually sometimes an addiction. This insight into habits was created by Charles Duhigg, and I learned a lot from him to develop the following habits I created for myself in support of achieving my health goals. This is my list. Habit number 1 is to stay well informed in terms of the latest scientific literature on what is good for my brain health. I became a student of what can be done to improve brain cognition. Number 2 is to practice brain envy. When I want to do something, I ask myself, is this good or bad for my brain? Number 3 is to measure and optimize my vital biomarkers, because it is the deficiency in my lab results that I need to mitigate. Habit number 5 is to fast to give my brain time to renew itself. I fast from 1800 in the evening until 1200 hours the next day, and I never feel hungry or tired. Habit number 6 goes with fasting, which is eat right. I only eat what Dr. Bredesen recommends, and I eat a lot of it because healthy foods doesn't make you fat. My motto is no wheat, no white, no sweet, and a little meat. Exercise daily is my next habit. This is a habit that I can do more of, although I do a lot of physical work on the farm. And remember, exercise is cheap and very powerful for brain health. Number 8, practice good sleep hygiene. I sleep at least 7 hours at night, and this makes me feel good when I wake up. The next one is to reduce stress. I practice various stress management techniques, and it helped me to get my hormones in check. Habit number 10, I practice good oral hygiene and find it very pleasant to have a healthy mouth. Number 11 is avoid toxins. In the past, I never concerned myself with toxins, but now I check what is going into my body, and I even grow my own organic vegetables. Habit number 12, detox regularly. I make sure that I eat detox vegetables and supplement with detox-related natural products such as milk thistle, dandelion tea, and bitters. Number 13 is to check food labels, and women can actually add checking cosmetic labels. Since checking food labels, I realized I buy no packaged food anymore because most of them concern me as they have toxins within it. Number 14 is to manage my automatic negative thoughts. We all have negative thoughts, but we need to manage them because some of them are lies. Any thought that you don't control has the power to become toxic, says Tony Sorensen. I therefore learned to discard the lies my brain wants me to believe that are facts. Number 15 is I practice diaphragmatic breathing. This one helps me a lot to reduce my stress, and it's quite easy to do, and you can do it even when you sit in your car. Habit number 16 is to practice gratitude. I found this habit most rewarding. I do this when I put my light out at night. In the beginning, I found it hard to find blessings, but now it becomes naturally to have more than 6 at a time because I've learned to open my mind to these blessings. It relaxes me, and therefore I sleep much better. Number 17 is that I found my life's purpose. Now that I'm healthy again, I know what my purpose is. It is to spread the good news that each of you can have a healthy brain and stay younger longer. The second last habit is to stimulate my brain. I make sure that my brain does not go into retirement by continuously learning new things, and I do the brain HQ exercises Dr. Bredesen recommends. The last one is I practice head safety. When I'm in a risky situation, I stop to assess the risk for my brain. I then look for the things that can result in head injury. I assess the level of risk involved and then mitigate the risk before I act. I master most of these habits, but can always improve on it and design new habits that will improve my brain health. So the question is, what can you do to improve your brain health? My advice is check your habits to see which ones are unproductive, and then discard them by replacing it with productive ones. You will find that the reward outweighs the effort to do so.